last human city stands between extinction and survival as Skynet and the Hive clash, turning the streets into a slaughterhouse. Rain fell like ash on the shattered streets of Novaterra, the last human city on Earth. Smoke rose from the husks of collapsed buildings, and the sky glowed with an eternal red, Skynet's orbital defenses streaking plasma fire through the clouds, and Hive spores burning as they fell to the ground. Humanity had dwindled to a mere 40,000 souls, crammed into reinforced shelters beneath the city, watching helplessly as their would-be destroyers tore at each other for the right to wipe them out. Marcus Hale stood on the edge of the barricade near Sector 7, gripping his rifle with blistered hands. The rifle was old, scavenged, and half its targeting systems no longer worked, but it was all they had. Behind him, children cried in the tunnels, their voices echoing faintly. He had seen worse than this: Skynet's harvesters tearing people apart, Hive drones dragging the wounded into nests. But tonight, something different was happening. Tonight, the machines and the monsters were at war with each other. The first explosion rocked the street, shattering what little glass remained in the windows. Marcus ducked behind a burned-out transport as a T-900 crashed through a wall, its plasma cannon glowing, tracking something scuttling along the shadows. From the corner of his eye, Marcus saw the Hive drone leap, its barbed tail slicing through the air. The Terminator spun, too fast, and plasma fire erupted point-blank, cutting the drone in half. Its acidic blood hissed and ate through the street, splashing over the T-900's chassis. Steam rose as metal corroded, but the machine did not slow. "Hold fire!" shouted Captain Lyra Dane over the comms. "Let them kill each other." Marcus's finger eased off the trigger. She was right. Humanity's best weapon was simply to wait. The Hive didn't care about plasma bolts scorching the air. They poured from their nests in relentless waves, claws gleaming, tongues hissing. And Skynet's endoskeletons didn't care about acid eating through their joints. They just recalculated their targeting data and kept firing. Every street became a charnel house, every building a fortress or a trap. A scream erupted from the left. Marcus turned just in time to see one of the Hive drones grab a scavenger, yanking him from a rooftop before the man could even react. The drone's jaws opened wide. Then a plasma shot vaporized its head. The body twitched, then fell, still holding the man. The scavenger hit the ground hard, blood pooling around him. Marcus swallowed hard. Neither side cared about the humans. To them, Novaterra was just a battlefield. Hours passed. Fires burned out of control, lighting the night sky orange. Marcus and the other survivors stayed low, watching, waiting. It was almost beautiful if you ignored the screaming. Hive warriors ran along the walls, their black exoskeletons glistening, leaping from building to building like shadows made flesh. Endoskeletons moved in perfect lines, plasma bolts slicing through the air, their red eyes glowing like tiny suns. And then came something new. From the far side of the city, an earthquake rolled through the streets. Marcus felt the rumble through his boots, and even the Hive seemed to hesitate. The ground split open as something massive rose from beneath. A Skynet hunter-killer tank, its legs crashing through asphalt, its cannons swiveling. But this one was different. Its frame was jagged, burned, and covered with what looked like Hive resin. Marcus's breath caught. "What the hell is that?" he whispered. The HK tank fired, but not plasma. A spray of acidic projectiles erupted from its cannons, striking a swarm of Hive drones. The creatures shrieked as their own acidic ichor tore through them, dissolving their bodies in seconds. And then the tank's top hatch opened. Something climbed out. It was neither fully machine nor fully Hive. Its limbs were mechanical but bent wrong, like insect legs. Its head was a twisted hybrid of endoskull and Hive carapace, with glowing red eyes and a snapping jaw. Skynet had adapted. The Hive screamed in unison, their shrieks echoing through the city like a war horn. A queen emerged from the shadows, her massive body shoving aside rubble, her crown-like head ridged and glistening. She roared, a deep, guttural sound that made the air vibrate. The hybrid tank turned toward her, its claws flexing. The battle shifted. Marcus knew this was no longer just a skirmish. This was a fight for dominance. The queen charged. Hive warriors followed her like a living tide, swarming the tank, leaping onto its legs, tearing at the metal. The hybrid lashed out, crushing drones under its claws, acid splashing, plasma fire igniting the air. The queen slammed into it with her massive tail, impaling its chassis, tearing wires free. The machine screeched, a horrible metallic sound, and retaliated by grabbing her with both arms, holding her in place as its cannons fired point-blank. Acid burned through her chest, but she kept fighting, tearing its head almost clean off. "Pull back," Captain Dane shouted. "Everyone fall to the inner sectors." Marcus ran, heart pounding, through the narrow streets, past civilians huddled in fear. The ground shook with every clash of titans behind him. The humans weren't participants anymore. They were prey in the middle of two apex predators. By dawn, half the city was gone. Smoke and ash turned the sky black. The queen was still alive, though badly wounded, retreating with what remained of her hive into the sewers. The hybrid tank was gone, reduced to slag and resin. But Skynet wasn't finished. New HKs arrived, flying overhead, dropping metal spider-like drones that began webbing the streets with cable traps. The hive answered by unleashing facehuggers in waves, leaping onto the drones, shoving embryos into whatever counted as a head. The machines tore them off, but some began to convulse, twitch, and then change. Marcus sat on the steps of a burned-out building, rifle across his lap, watching as the war unfolded like some hellish play. He knew humanity's time was nearly over. The city would not survive another night. The shelters were running out of power. The food was gone. And yet, somewhere deep inside, he felt a strange hope. "Why are you smiling?" Captain Dane asked, limping over to him, her uniform torn and blackened. "Because," Marcus said, "they're too busy fighting each other to notice us. Maybe we make it out." She gave him a long look. "Or maybe when they're done, they finish what they started." Marcus shrugged. "Then we make them bleed first." That night, as the battle reached its peak, Marcus led a small team into the ruins near the city's center. They carried scavenged explosives, jury-rigged charges meant for collapsing tunnels. If they could collapse the main hive nest and destroy the Skynet forward base at the same time, maybe, just maybe, both sides would retreat. The streets were slick with acid, bodies, and melted metal. The air stank of ozone and rot. As Marcus planted the charges, he heard the queen roar again, and above her roar came the whine of Skynet's HKs. The sky lit up with plasma fire as the queen's massive form lunged at the machines, her tail slicing through one, bringing it crashing down. Marcus triggered the detonator. The ground erupted. Fire swallowed the streets. Buildings toppled, crushing machines and hive drones alike. The shockwave knocked Marcus off his feet, slamming him into the dirt. His ears rang. When he looked up, the queen was gone, buried beneath rubble. Skynet's HKs were smoking wrecks. For a moment, just a moment, the city was silent. Then the survivors began to emerge from the tunnels. People cheered, cried, embraced. Marcus looked at Captain Dane, who nodded grimly. "We bought time," she said. "That's all." Marcus stood, staring at the horizon where the sun was rising. The war wasn't over. It never would be. But as long as even one human still breathed, the fight would go on. And maybe, just maybe, Novaterra would remain the last city, unbroken even at the end of the world.